I now request Chief Guest of the function, Honorable Madam Finance Minister, to please address the gathering.
In whose state we have all assembled, Revenue Secretary, CBIC Chairman, CBDT Chairman, all the officers of the CBIC who come here, particularly those for whom the award is being given today in a delayed manner. It's always a happy augury when you're invited to be part of people who get commensurations, appreciation, awards. It's a great moment to be together. So I feel very honored and happy to be among you all who have gone through a very rigorous process of selection. Revenue Secretary was right in saying, I was very curious to ask him, what is the kind of process? Because governments and government awards, particularly those awards given to their own officers, are normally looked at with a certain sense of it's known story, we know it all, so what. I didn't think either the CBIC or CBDT should have that kind of a, people treating it with a slight, it's all right. No, because you are as good as the armed forces in that you are guarding the economic borders of the country. And I don't think any award given to the CBIC should be treated with that kind of a slight. So I wanted to understand the process, and I was convinced that the process is very rigorous, and it's not as if LRGs is being extended to everybody in some due course of time, everyone gets it. It's not that, and so it's well worth the name of the award being given to you all. So appreciations and congratulations to all those who are winning. Many of the things which I wanted to say are already been said by all the previous speakers. MOS Pankaj Chaudhary actually put it all in very simple but nice, very powerfully packed lines in Hindi, which I never do. But that is the message. It is that it is a deserved, well-deserved award. You're working against severe odds. We recognize that. And therefore this award being given is very well worth it, and I appreciate that. However, there is more to this entire thing. It's a different story that the CBDT doesn't get any such award. Only you've been getting it from 1962. And I can't see why CBDT has been a very quiet participant in it, because CBDT also deserves to get such awards. There should be something, a framework comparable to what the CBIC's framework is. In its own way, the CBDT also should think about it, because motivation is a very important thing. People should be recognized for the good work that they do. And therefore, the motivational aspect of CBIC award is something which I'd like to play on. It is from the way the award and for the work that the award is being given, it's fairly apparent that it is given for many aspects of the work. For those who are very good at the orders or ports of call, for those who are detecting, for those who are suggesting ways of doing better, and so on. So it's actually across several activities in CBIC, and that's how it should be. No work is less work, and I think all put together is the functioning of CBIC. I'm happy about that. And I know it's always a bad time to give a lengthy speech, especially when people are waiting to take their awards, so I wouldn't extend my speech. But there are one or two things which I want to highlight from what I've heard my previous speakers. and I'm sure the Revenue Secretary knows that I always pick up on one of the other points which have been mentioned. Was it him? He said, you know, I'm so happy that lots of ladies are also getting, but the process is that you can apply for yourselves and that is also accepted. So more ladies should also apply for themselves. Did you say that right? I strongly suggest ladies don't apply. Now, what is that? Ladies also please apply. Don't. I think the mechanism should be such that even without a woman saying that this is what she's done it, you should have seen it already. How many of them are there? How many of them are there that you have to, from the inundated number, you need them to apply, and then for you to see, and then for you to scan, and then for you to... No way. Honestly, men do apply, please. But women don't apply. And let's see how many years will pass without even one woman being given an award. I challenge the system. I challenge the system. I am a part of it. I am not challenging somebody else. How patronizing is that? You also apply, let's see whether you get a chance. No chance. Don't bother. We will get it. That's one. Second, as a humble suggestion, not to aggravate the situation, and I've said this in several places, between 2020, post the announcement of the lockdown, until before the second wave, customs, unlike any other government service, has done an extraordinarily good job for this country. You made us all proud. You made us all proud because nowhere have we even had a whisper of complaint saying my goods have come, they are waiting in the ports, it's languishing, they are not clearing, medicines are waited in the hospital, oxygen cylinders have not reached. Some of the PPE kits have all been dumped in a corner. None of that. If that is one merit point, the second merit point was, you cleared it. You cleared it well in advance, before people thought, oh God, can it be cleared so quickly and so on. But having done that, and unusually for a government department, normally there is a lot of, it's all right, we do it, we will not say about it. You also understood that today's world depends on a lot of what you claim. You have to claim it. Otherwise nobody notices the work you do. It's not propaganda. It's not speaking about what you do. People will notice us. Yes, they will notice. But today there's such a flood of information everywhere for people to notice so much, and also to pick that wonderful work that you've done would have been too much of a challenge. Coming over or overcoming the reticence normally government departments have, you came up and spontaneously put it out saying, we cleared this, half an hour's time, this went out, we are not caused for trouble, but at the same time we have understood the necessity and cleared it in time. So that message coming from various places, Mumbai, Bangalore, Chennai, Hyderabad, Kolkata, everywhere. And as and when it happened, real time, when it was coming out, people really understood that you have understood the value of sharing good information. And that's also helped. Because after that, there was a lot of word of mouth also. People saying, oh, look, did you notice? You know, Chennai Customs has done this. Delhi has done this. So overall, people felt it wasn't that random one event somewhere. It was consistently everywhere. That customs understood that they had to clear it in time so that the country which is facing a never seen emergency is not put to greater difficulty. So one, you did it, and two, you also understood you had to share this information. You did that as well. As a result, you had a lot of goodwill built up and rightly built up for you. So since this never seen pandemic, government institution working government institutions sharing information in real time is an extraordinary thing. I would suggest, I don't know if you've already announced awards for 2021, you have, I suppose, and for 21-22, you're likely to do it this January. So, a one-time Corona Response Award, for which I think you should be able to see from various ports of call, customs authorities who have done very well, or GST authorities who have done very well, because we came up with a very quick thing of waiver of GST and implementing the GST in the ground with the waiver for some of the life-saving drugs and so on, is definitely a challenge which you stood up to and really did perform. A one-time award for performance between 2021, 21-22, just on COVID response, may be a good point that will go down well, I suppose, with the officers. Should be considered. My request and appeal to the CBIC would be, GST revenues are improving every month. For me, it's a bit of a, by God's grace, I sleep well. But the only day or night when I have a bit of a trouble is 30th of every month, 31st of every month, saying what's my GST going to be like. I'm very, not so much because we want to show off that, oh, we've done well, this is the revenue that we've collected, but because today, and this you will all agree with me, because today the GST collection every month is is treated like a litmus test by the economy. Every economy watcher is watching, saying, what's the figure going to be like? And the moment you say the figure, you say, oh yes, it's good then. The economy then is doing well or picking up. So it's become a barometer. It's the weathercock, it's the weather vane. So unless that figure every month is going to be good for the next at least 2 years, the growth that we are talking about, the growth that we want, the growth which will keep India on the highest growth path, the growth that is required for keeping India as the fastest growing economy is not going to be possible. You may ask me back, saying, what do you mean, only GST is important? It is important not just for the amount it gives. As I said, it is the indicator of what is happening in the economy. It has two purposes. One, it reflects as to what is happening in the economy. Two, it is the indicator for the sentiment. The moment the number dips, you see everybody saying, oh my God, the economy is back again, slow down. Whether that is a reasonable feeling or not, it becomes a matter of sentiment, and sentiment most often doesn't have rationale, logic, nothing of that. So, my appeal to you is not with a thirst for revenue, with a thirst for India to remain at that growth path. My desire is for retaining India in that growth path, not for the money. Yes, money is important. Money is important because it has to be pooled for many other things. But GST money, I'm not sure if I'm putting the same demand to the CBDT. I'm putting this purely for the GST, not even the customs fee. GST now has become the thermometer. Unless the temperature there is just right, not too hot, not too low, the economy doesn't feel well. So kindly understand how critical this is, and therefore don't slack down. Don't let things happen by routine. Oh, it will happen. Now it's picked up, it will come. No, every month will have to be carefully work done. So my appeal to you on that. And just one little correction for my young lady who was running the show, because it's Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, 75 years of Indian independence. What happened in 1857 was not a withdrawal. Please correct me because I'm not good in Hindi. What is withdrawal? Withdraw, if I understand correct, is a translation for the word mutiny? Revolt? No, it was the first war of Indian independence. A revolt can happen within the army for several reasons. My boss was very unkind, there was no touch of care. My boss didn't feed me. I have not been given enough bullets, but I had to fight. Anything of this. But no, it was an agitation, it was a protest, it was a clear war waged to say India should be free. And the word mutiny is part of the Anglo-Indian narrative, not the Anglo-Indian as the people that we see among us who are Indian citizens. I'm not saying in that sense. It's a British word that you protested, revolted, or mutinied against the Queen or the King. That wasn't the case. It was clearly a case of we want to be our masters. It was a question of asking for independence. It was those people in the forces were doing it, but clearly it was a call for independence. So Swatantrata Sangram may be a better word. So, no longer between you and your awards. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Jai Hind. Oh, yes. I'm sure many of you are curious as to why something which RS wanted to say, Chairman did not allow him to say, saying that Mr. Minister will say it. He could have said it. In fact, the Chairman could have said it. It was a very good decision about which they didn't mention it. It could have been very well said by any one of us. After all of us are in it together. During the COVID, many of you all had to work from home, and even in spite of that managed to work well and kept serving in time, but with the handicap, and that was you didn't have access to a computer, you didn't have access to a tablet or a laptop or whatever. And on 18th November, the request to give a laptop or a tablet or whatever to Group B officers also, because Group A officers anyway got it. For Group B officers also was sanctioned, was approved on the 18th. And even as I'm talking to you all, even as I'm talking to you all, I'm told about 9,200 computers have already been sanctioned. So we'll keep up that momentum, we'll make sure that everyone has access to good gadgets with which they can perform better.